I'm not sure what day this will go up. It's not Friday right now, but it'll probably go up before Friday. That's just the way I feel, but we'll see. I got to tell you, though, I got the strangest email the other day, and I get people sending me all kinds of emails trying to sell me stuff. Usually services like, hey, we can help your website, or we can help you get like clients, or hey, we can help you with your social media. And I had somebody the other day go, we can help you with your podcast. And I read the body of the email, and I wrote them back, and I said, well, my podcast right now, the audio version of my podcast, gets about 10,000 downloads a day. How many downloads does your average podcaster get? And the guy wrote me back, and he goes, wow, those numbers are amazing. Can I talk to you? No, that's okay. But there is an audio version of my main channel that you can find on iTunes. So if you're ever driving someplace and you go, I don't have to see that guy talk. I can just listen to him. Well, there you go. So here's the funny thing, though. I got an email the other day from a guy who said, Steve, I am a professional voiceover artist. I do voiceover work. And he goes, I'm contacting you because you've got to get rid of that silly AI-generated robot voice at the beginning of your videos. You got to get rid of that stupid voice. He goes, I don't know why you use it. It sounds horrible. It's ridiculous. He goes, it wouldn't cost you that much to hire a professional voiceover artist. I'm presuming like him. And now here's the thing. When I first started using Heather as my intro and as the outros, there was a brief period of time where there was some confusion because I didn't make an announcement. I just simply started using it where people would watch, and where there used to be silence, there's a voice saying, welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto. And that's Heather. We nicknamed her the Canadian Robot Lady because a bunch of people did respond and say, Steve, is that a robot? So I then had to record a thing saying, thank you for listening to Lehto's Law. And no, I'm not a robot. And that's how that end thing evolved. So it got to the point where I started having her record things that would go after the videos that are different from video to video. But it's a real person. Her name is Heather. I've interviewed her twice. So I said I'd end the controversy one of these days. I would end it soon, and soon is now. So here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
And here is a non-robotic human voice. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. So people are going to want to hear some questions and answers to prove that you are not a robot. And I've told people, I said, well, she's not a robot. She is a Canadian air personality / voiceover artist who I simply met through my presence on the internet, I think through YouTube. And I asked you, I said, next time you're in a production studio, could you just simply cut me an intro and an outro? I never thought it was going to be controversial. So first of all, and I'm going to ask you point blank. Okay, you're not under oath, but straight up, are you a robot?
Of course I am. How to fuel the fire. No, I'm not. I'm just a Canadian girl that has been fortunate enough to have a lovely radio career, and I do voiceover on the side. And yes, I do automated voiceover work for, businesses as well. So that's probably why people think I sound like I'm a marketing message, because I've done that.
And the guy, I wrote back to the guy, and I go, well, that's a real person. So no, we're not going to replace a real person with another real person. And the guy actually wrote me back, and he goes, I don't know what you're trying to pull here. He goes, but that's not real. He goes, that is an AI generated voice, and it's not real. He goes, if you have a real human voice, it sounds human. That's obviously not a human voice. I said, oh, okay. And then I went and looked at his website, and I realized, the guy's trying to drum up work because obviously he needs to do that. But I was reminded then of, by the way, I have a Facebook page. I've mentioned it before. If you like me or send me a message, I'll become your friend on Facebook for what that's worth. And a lot of people do reach out to me through Facebook, or they email me, or whatever they do. However you reach me, you reach me. And I had somebody who liked me on LinkedIn. And I don't care for LinkedIn. I don't even check LinkedIn. I check it about once a week. I don't like LinkedIn. There's a whole bunch of reasons why I don't, but I just don't. And somebody asked to connect with me on, oh my gosh, it's snowing out. And it's snowing so hard it's hitting the windows. I don't know if you probably can't hear that, but just trust me. And so LinkedIn. So this guy friends me on LinkedIn, so I friend him back. And then he sends me a message. And most people on LinkedIn don't send messages, but the guy sends me a message. He goes, hey, have you written some books? So I thought, oh, maybe the guy read one of my books and he was wondering if I'm the same guy who wrote the books. I go, yeah, I've written about 12 books. And he wrote me back and he goes, are any of them available as audiobooks? I thought, well, maybe he's a fan of audiobooks. I don't know. So I wrote him back and I said, yeah, actually one of them is. American Murder Houses is available as an audiobook. He wrote me back and he goes, so what have you got against audiobooks anyway? It went from, have you written any books? Are any available as audiobooks? And what have you got against them? So I wrote him back and I said, I've got nothing against them. I said, my publishers have never asked me about putting out an audiobook except for the one who said, hey, we'd like to do that with American Murder Houses. And it was put out that way. And then the guy wrote me back and he goes, well, I do voiceover work and I'm available. Maybe we should look into that. And I just unfriended him because, number one, my publisher, I bring them a book, they publish it. We discuss how to publish it and the title and the cover and things like that. But when they said, we're going to turn your book into an audiobook, the one publisher that did that, I didn't say, by the way, use this person or that person. They went and found whoever they used, and they used that person. It came out really, really well. And so apparently that's a guy who does voiceover work or audiobook work or something, and he's literally just contacting authors through LinkedIn going, can I do an audiobook of your book for you? Presumably he wants me to pay him or something, but that's not up to me. That's my publisher. Now, I understand that a lot of people these days are publishing their own books and then they put out their own audio version of that book. I wouldn't even know where to begin on something like that. But my publisher handles that. So approaching me and asking me to do it ain't going to help you any. But when you accuse me and say, what have you got against it? I didn't say I had anything against it. I don't. I also have to tell you that I've been contacted lately, and this is pretty cool, by people I did videos about. And when I hear a voicemail or see a message that begins with, you recently did a video about me, there's a brief moment of terror where I'm thinking, I ticked somebody off. But actually, the last few times have been very, very good. I can't tell you who all of them are because I got contacted by somebody who's embroiled in litigation, and I covered the litigation on this channel. And one of the people involved in the litigation contacted me. And by the way, I know they're telling me the truth because of a couple of things that became very obvious during our discussion. However, the guy said, I wanted to let you know that, he goes, number one, you got the story completely right. Number two, I like the way you presented the story. He goes, number three, he goes, you actually said you were speculating about one or two things and that you were just simply speculating based on your knowledge as an attorney. He goes, just to let you know, you're spot on. He goes, but I can't go on the record and say that. I said, okay, thank you. But then, this is pretty cool. I just got this in the mail today. And this dates back a little ways. But remember I did the story about the guy who had a pizza oven in his backyard, and one of his neighbors filed a nuisance lawsuit against him and said that the pizza oven was causing some kind of nuisance. And there were several videos that I did because I wound up covering it when it happened. That is when the legal brouhaha arose. And then I covered it when the case ended. And so I got this pretty cool letter from a guy named Paul. He says, Steve, we are the Cleveland Heights Pizza Oven people. First, we want to thank you for finding our story interesting enough to do 2 shows on. Some information you may find interesting. First, their smoke detectors have never gone off when the pizza oven has been used. And never has one gone off at the 4 homes closer to it. So in other words, the people are complaining about all the smoke. Their smoke detector never went off. When the plaintiffs rested their case, we decided to not even bother and rested without presenting our own. That takes guts, I'll say, because you have the right to put on a defense, but you don't have to. And they chose not to. And he said that makes the unanimous jury verdict in our favor in less than 30 minutes the ultimate courtroom blowout. And you, sir, are correct on that one. Interesting side note, The grandfather of the man involved in this case is a founder of a very, very famous, nationally renowned law firm, but obviously has no longer any affiliation. A short documentary is coming out this coming spring for release at the Cleveland International Film Festival. And he goes, we've enclosed 2 bumper stickers for your entertainment. And he signed it, Paul. And of course, the bumper sticker says, pizza is not a crime. So, the pizza is not a crime bumper sticker will be on the set shortly. And I just noticed that the letter was dated quite a while ago, and I apologize, but the letter was sent to the wrong address, and it just now caught up with me. And I'm not going to talk about these addresses here because it's annoying to me, but unfortunately, a lot of people continue to send things to my old address, and it'll catch up with me eventually. But this letter is actually dated last year. I just realized that. I'm looking at it going, wow, that's an old letter. So luckily, I still got it. And then finally, I did the video where I did the tour of my studio. And I thought that was a fun thing to do, and most people seem to enjoy it. And I had a bunch of people ask me specifically some follow-up questions. Some people commented on the dust, and I will admit there's a lot of dust. Unfortunately, dust just kind of forms. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time up here dusting because generally speaking, the dust doesn't appear on camera unless I do close-ups, which I don't do that often. But I had quite a few people ask me rhetorically, do you ever wash those T-shirts? Now, I thought at first that somebody said something like they're asking kind of like it must be a real chore to wash all those T-shirts. But then I started thinking, are people suggesting that they don't think I ever wash them? Like, do people think they're dirty T-shirts? And just so you know, every shirt before I put it on the first time is washed, meaning that if you send me a shirt, it comes out of the packaging straight in the wash. Then I pull it out of the dryer. I hang it inside out on a wooden hanger. It's the first thing I do. And so the reason I do that is if you have T-shirts that are on hangers for a long period of time, you can often get little bumps here from the end of the hangers, especially if they're wire hangers. So you use wooden hangers inside out. So when you pull the shirt on correctly, any bump here gets removed by your shoulder pressing up on it. And so it might be that some people didn't catch the fact that those shirts, and I'm looking at them right now, okay, are all inside out. And they're inside out on purpose, but they're not dirty, they're clean. Those are all clean shirts. And so it very well could happen that I might wear it a second time without having washed it in between. But if you think about it, I got news for you. I put the shirt on and I wear it for 12 minutes. And I take it off, turn it inside out, and put it back on the hanger. It ain't that dirty, okay? But yes, the shirts do get washed. They get washed periodically, as often as necessary. But one of the reasons they might not have looked as kempt as you would like is the fact that they're all hung inside out. And that's the kind of behind-the-scenes stuff that you will only get from watching these videos on this channel. Right now, people are taking note going, wait a second. Hang T-shirts inside out. By the way, though, it makes it difficult because you can't tell what it is unless you look inside of it. Another story for another day. And I got another note from somebody today who said, Steve, did you say your 10-year anniversary on YouTube is coming up? And it is. My 10-year anniversary on YouTube is coming up at the end of March, so it's a little ways off. I got a whole bunch of stuff planned. So I'm going to have at least one big 10th anniversary show that I'm going to do specifically for the occasion. And I'm going to try to jam as much stuff as I can into that. And if it runs too long, I might do a two-parter. We'll see. But that will run on the main channel because it's the main channel that right now is approaching its 10th year anniversary, which to me is just absolutely mind-boggling. So there you go. Pizza is not a crime. And this channel supports the one that's almost 10 years old. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.